This is James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Welcome to a more civilized podcast. This is the podcast you're looking for. You may not go about your business. Stay here, listen, and then move along.
Hey there, listeners. It's us again. I'm Kyler.
I'm Chris.
I'm Ross.
And we've got a whole bunch of silliness lined up for you today. But before we get into that, I'm going to have Ross do his news.
Yes, so we have a couple different pieces of news to share with you today. The first is the exciting news that the official cast list of The Mandalorian has been announced.
I'm so excited.
So, pretty much, if you had looked at any of the rumors, they were all true.
Yep.
That was pretty much the exact cast list, and everyone... I think it was a guess. Everyone was guessing who was going to play the Mandalorian, or was it actually leaked?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
There were rumors. I remember seeing those.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ever credited as an official leak or a guess. It was just there are rumors going around.
Yeah.
So, Pedro Pascal, who I have no idea where he's from. I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him.
He is playing the Mandalorian himself,
Yep.
which in the pictures they show of him, I can see it.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah,
he's got kind of that cut, hard
Yeah.
look, you know.
Yeah.
Got him a good patchy scruff.
Yep.
It makes him look, that'll work out. And also, sorry, listeners, the list I'm taking this from is kind of spread out, so it'll take me a second. So we also have Gina Carano.
I don't recognize that name.
Yeah, don't know her.
Let me look.
Carl Weathers.
Carl
Yeah.
Weathers, we know.
Arrested
Carl.
Development fans.
I was just
Carl
going to say, I
Weathers.
wonder if he's going to make the cast a good stew, you know?
Yes. Oh, okay.
That's all I could think of when I saw his name. Was like,
Gina
we got a stew.
Carano, she is an MMA fighter turned actor.
Oh,
and
that's
she was
right.
in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to see some butt kicking from her, is my
Quite
official
likely.
guess.
She's the one that's very pretty, but also scares me.
Yes, she's
So, very much
she's the one who beat the crap out of Colossus at the end of Deadpool.
Oh.
He almost got the better of her, but then her tank top got torn, and he's too polite, so he looked away. Because it's a Deadpool.
good old Colossus. He's a good guy. We also have Nick Nolte. That's
Okay.
a name I remember, but I can't
Nick
think of the
Nolte.
face.
Okay, yeah, Nick Nolte's all over the place. He is crazy.
That's all I know him for.
Yeah, Nick Nolte. Do you remember the original Hulk movie, Ang Lee's Hulk?
Yeah.
With Eric Bana
He's
as Bruce Banner.
He turns into
He's
the bad
Bruce
Hulk.
Banner's dad in that turns into that is the antagonist in that movie towards the end.
Yeah.
Okay. He's all over the place, but that's one of the more geeky ones that I expect people to recognize. But.
Right. We also have Werner Herzog, who
Which I'm super excited
he's one of those
for.
super uppity British.
No, German.
Super scary. Or is he German?
German.
Oh, that
German.
guy. That's right. I
Werner
remember.
Herzog.
Yeah.
He
one
did the
who-
Grizzly Man documentary.
Yeah,
But
he
the
is
guy
not
that
joined as a
Grizzly Bear?
director in this.
He was on the Late Late Show with James Corden once, and his little sound guy, the band dude, knew some German, quote unquote, and started making strange guttural noises to him, and he was not pleased. He was not happy about it. Did not get the joke.
Yeah.
No, he is German.
He's a great actor,
Yeah.
though, so that'll be interesting to see.
We also have
Giancarlo Esposito.
Giancarlo
who
Esposito.
I love Giancarlo Esposito.
Is that how you say that collection of letters?
I believe so. Yeah. So you'd recognize him from primarily season 3 of Breaking Bad. He was also in season 2 a bit.
Oh, was he the one that's also in?
He plays the genie in Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. He does good. I really liked him in Revolution, which was a very short.
See, and I saw
know
his
that
name
TV
at
series.
first, and I immediately went to Esposito in Castle.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, no, that's
That would
the
also be
character's name.
delightful.
He would be awesome.
But yeah, Revolution, first season's worth a watch. Second season, it falls apart, and that's why there was no third.
Kind of like Once Upon a Time.
Yep.
Except that it continued getting seasons.
Yeah, silly Disney. You also have Supernatural's Emily Swallow.
Supernatural, huh?
That's what it says.
Oh, as the Amara the Darkness. Yeah, I never got that far into Supernatural. So, also Kim Fisher on The Mentalist, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know.
She looks
either
vaguely
of those.
familiar, but
And then we also have Omid Abtahi.
Abtahi, I think.
Abtahi.
From American Gods is what this article says. I have not seen the American Gods series, so I looked up his picture and I don't recognize him. But hey, congratulations, Omid.
Yep. And also oh, wait a minute. Are there some more down here? Oh, no, that's right. There's just going on to gush over the casting.
Yes.
We also have a late entry as of Jon Favreau's Instagram over Christmas. Posted a picture of IG-88.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's interesting. He looks a little bit different because I got comparing what was posted on Jon Favreau's Twitter and what you see in Empire.
Yeah.
His chest piece is a little bit different. Yeah. So, I mean,
it's a bit more curvy. So like it has some, not curvy like a lady.
No, I know.
It has some curving from the torso up through the shoulders, like curving outward.
Pedro Pascal. Okay, he was in Game of Thrones. That's where I've seen him.
And in IG-88 or in Empire Strikes Back, he's just really blocky.
Right, very much straight, and I think he has some like bandoliers or some.
Yeah, he's got a grenade bandolier. But
which he didn't have in the picture.
He played Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones.
So I wonder if it is actually IG. I mean, it's got to be IG-88, right? I mean, he's not going to tease us like
the headpiece is exactly the same.
Well, but all assassin.
I was going to say there are multiple. There are multiple.
But how many of those assassin?
I know. It's got to be. So we're going to see IG-88 with some upgrades.
We'll have to see if what we should have done is pulled up the Clone Wars assassin droids that came up to compare those.
Yeah, I'm just excited because hopefully then we will see IG-2000 on screen. IG-88's ship.
His ship, yeah.
Oh.
And then I can finally put it on the board in Armada. I have a silly rule, listeners. When I play Armada or Legion or anything like that, I only play cannon ships. I'll only field cannon ships in my armies. So, there's a lot of good Imperial ships that I don't play because they're not canon.
And the Imperial side has been shown so much love for canonizing things. They need to go and show the Rebels a little more love.
Ugh, gross. Keep your dang assault frigates to yourself. And your stupid MC-30s.
That's right. Also, as far as news goes, a bit of a kerfuffle has happened.
This was hilarious.
So apparently, the person responsible for submitting the musical score for Solo, forgot to submit the score for consideration for the Oscars. So
here's my theory on what happened. They composed their email. They had the attachment. They thought they hit send, closed their Gmail, went home for Christmas, forgot about it. And then it was like, you sent that email, right? Like, we haven't got a notification. Oh, yeah, no, I totally sent it. And then they go in there and it still says, like, drafts 1. Yeah. You know? And it's like, oh, no!
Maybe they just had some internet troubles and it didn't go through.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's my theory.
I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt that they were being competent and something else went wrong.
Well, see, and I'm more cynical than that. I think it was more of a forgot in finger quotes.
Oh, no.
Because I don't remember the score being all that special.
We discussed it, that it was, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't memorable like any of the other movies.
But I think more with the public reception, I'm sure it was more of a...
Let's just let it go and not draw attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
Again, that's just my cynical opinion. I have absolutely nothing to actually point to that as an actual thing. But, yeah, that's my vote.
Cool.
So...
All right, I have a couple of shout-outs to do.
Which we're going to do at the end.
Oh.
Can we start that today?
Sure.
Okay. Changing a little format.
Woo!
Changing
up. Keeping you listeners on your toes.
That's right. Yes. Who knows if you're going to get a shout-out? You have to wait till the end to find out.
That's right. Oh, we're going to do that, are we?
We're going to be those people. All right.
Might as well start our like and subscribes like we keep joking about.
I'm not shouting out at anyone, so, I can
us.
do that.
Alrighty. So today, we are going to talk about captains. Famous fictional captains. It started as a little argument between Ross and his wife Carrie, who was on our show a few weeks ago. Go back and listen. She's hilarious, by the way.
A very classic argument.
I mean, it was a very light thing. Yeah. I mean, I yelled, she threw pans. Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah. Who's the better captain, Kirk or Picard? And then from that, they were like, well, what about Captain Solo? What about Malcolm Reynolds? What about... And so we were like, hey, wait a minute. We could do a show about that, guys.
That's right.
Okay, let's do it. So then our list evolved to a reasonable 20, and then Chris added a lot more.
Yeah, that 20 wasn't reasonable in the first place.
So, I know. Well, reasonable in length.
I looked at Kyler's list and went, well, I mean, if we're going that far, because
Yeah.
I initially thought we were doing only ship captains, and then looked at his list and was like, well, there are a lot of military captains on here as well, and if we are not limiting ourselves to ship captains, then even if we are, there's a few that I feel need to be on this list. And then I added a couple others that we have since cut from the list.
This was the reasoning behind it. I was like, okay, so let's do our ship captains, and there were not as many ship captains as I felt there needed to be in order to justify an episode. So I was like, well, let's add some other captains. And then Chris was like, well, if you're going to do that, let's add some more captains, and then we have this list.
So, should we run real quick through the ones that have been cut?
No, we're just going to run through all of... We're going to do the whole list, and then we'll talk about
the
merits of them.
Yeah. Okay, well, Kyler, take us away.
So here we go. So the first one made me giggle, and this is going to be educational for all of you. So this is Stephen Peacock. Now, I know all of you listeners know who Stephen Peacock is, but
all two of you.
For these two guys here that don't know who Stephen Peacock is, I'm going to tell you. So when I was but a lad, because you have to remember, I think all three of us technically qualify as an old.
My father said, lad, this is a choice that deserves to live. Sorry.
So
it's a reflex, I can't help it.
I'm old, and when I was a kid, I remember my parents watching a show on TV called Are You Being Served? Okay, this ran on BBC One. It was a comedy show. Captain Stephen Peacock is a fictional character on this show, BBC One. Are You Being Served? It ran from 1972 to 1985. It is old. It is super grainy. It is on YouTube. It is also hilarious. Go watch it. The last couple seasons, not so much. But the first, 4 or 5 seasons, very funny. Very dry British humor. I love it. So Captain Peacock was the somewhat stuffy floor walker, considers himself above the assistants with both his position and his dubious military record. So this is a department store. Think like Macy's or something like that, where they've got clothing, they've got cookware, they've got, your old-fashioned department store.
Yeah.
The question most viewers asked was, in what corps was Peacock a captain? Which I always asked. They talk about it a couple different times contradictorily in the show. So in the pilot episode, Mrs. Slocum mentions annoyance with Peacock's posh Royal Signals Corps voice. Although Peacock later brags about being in the Royal Engineers, that's the Royal Signal Corps there, and his experiences fighting Rommel in North Africa, Mr. Mash likes to tell the staff that Peacock served in the NAAFI instead, and probably didn't ever leave England. That's the, a cook in the army.
Yeah.
Serving people their slop. Although Peacock usually talks as if he were a member of an elite commando unit, on 2 occasions he admits he was in the Royal Army Service Corps, logistics. In addition, throughout the series he wears the RASC tie. Mr. Goldenberg, who blackmails Peacock into hiring him to replace Mr. Tebbs, confirms that Peacock served in North Africa, but mentions that Peacock's rank was real rank was corporal.
So he doesn't even belong.
But he's delightful, because throughout the thing, he's Captain Peacock. He's always referred to as Captain Peacock throughout the show.
Fair.
And I love that show, and it's hilarious, and you should go watch it. But that will be the last time we ever mention him on this episode.
So next on our list is hey everyone, we do want to acknowledge that this is a Star Wars podcast entry. So Han Solo, Captain Han Solo of the Millennium Falcon. Do you all know who he is? That's, I think, Captain's the Millennium Falcon, takes a lightsaber to the chest from his son.
Sure does.
Yeah.
He sure does. Best moment of the film. Don't look at me that way, Ross. That was the best. That was the high point of the movie.
Killing off Han Solo was your favorite part?
That was so excellent. I loved it. I ate it up. Yeah. Ooh.
So next,
Ross, you want to take it?
We have Malcolm Reynolds.
And he was the captain of what ship, Ross?
The Serenity.
That's right.
No,
yes.
He was captain of Serenity. There is no the.
So how do you do that, though, if the ship's name doesn't have a the in front of it, but you're still talking about the ship? Don't you just say the Serenity?
Nope, you just say he's the captain
Wouldn't
of Serenity.
A lowercase t?
Yeah, a lowercase t.
You could
T?
arguably, but generally, no, you would omit the entirely. He is the captain of Serenity.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you
And
have
I
it,
only
listeners.
mention that because they make a point in the
I know
show
they
of
do,
specifying
Do they?
it's just Serenity, not the Serenity.
Yeah.
Serenity.
Yeah,
I don't,
there
I
is,
don't remember
yeah.
that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little
That's the
gag
only
in
reason
the
I'm
episodes.
being pedantic about it.
Yeah,
It's because the
that's
show
fine.
is pedantic about
Okay,
it. So.
fine.
And
Fair
because I love that shit.
Next, we have Jean-Luc Picard, who is the captain of the USS Enterprise D, the fourth Enterprise.
Yes, best known for being bald.
Yep. And that's so good. And never mind. I'll save my comment for myself. Next, Chris.
We've got Captain Lorth Nida of the Imperial Star Destroyer Avenger.
Yep.
Captain Nida.
For a time,
Yes.
Yeah.
until
Eventually gets
Vader chokes him out
Yes.
and then Piet becomes captain.
Piet
of
becomes captain. So
the
we
Avenger.
might as well say Piet on here as well. Lorth Nida, Captain Piet.
Except he becomes admiral by the end, and he's Admiral.
Yeah,
Piet,
but they were
so
both
that's
captain.
Why
Anyway.
that's why he didn't make the list. Lots of these people are super arbitrary.
Yeah.
As is always the case on this show.
We are merely
The rules are arbitrary.
Yes, that's right. Next on our list is the other half of the who was the better captain debate, because normally that's just a Star Trek debate. We have James Tiberius Kirk, who captained the original
Jim
USS Enterprise.
Yep. Also known as USS Enterprise A, but also just Enterprise sometimes.
A and
Best
B.
known for being played by William Shatner,
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then we have Phasma.
who has been
Who
disqualified
has
from the list. Yes.
No, she has no first name. Or she has no last name. Phasma is her first name.
That we know
She
of,
is
yeah.
captain, which is why
She
she's
is a
on the
captain,
list.
yeah.
She is a captain. Phasma was a human female stormtrooper captain of the First Order. She served as part of the unofficial commanding triumvirate for the First Order and their Starkiller base operation, taking charge of the command of the First Order stormtrooper soldiers. She is disqualified from our final list, which we'll talk about at the end after we run through everybody, because she is not a captain of a ship.
Yeah. So
She
we're
has
narrowing
no
this
ship
down
that she
slightly.
captains. So she along with Captain Peacock will not be mentioned again. All right.
So next we have, I believe, let's say this is mine.
Yeah.
This is Captain Jack Sparrow, the greatest pirate that you've ever seen. Captain of the Black Pearl, the
You've ever
HMS.
heard of.
Yeah,
You've
he's the
ever heard
worst
of, yes.
captain we've ever heard of, but we have heard of him.
Yes, exactly. The HMS Interceptor briefly, the HMS Dauntless even more briefly, the Dying Gull, etc., etc. Famously known for being Johnny Depp
Yep.
in his comeback role, and for
Jack Sparrow played the character of Johnny Depp in that movie.
I would say, basically, Johnny Depp showed up and got a ton of money for putting on some makeup and having fun as himself, kind of like Robert Downey Jr. does for the Marvel movies.
And he's never stopped being Jack Sparrow, even
and
after the
I was going to say, best known for starring in a really great movie and then overstaying his welcome drastically.
Or maybe this is a possession story, that Jack Sparrow, the spirit of Jack Sparrow, just,
took over.
Yeah, took over Johnny Depp and has
Depp.
never
But yeah, we can thank Jack Sparrow for bringing Johnny Depp back into the spotlight, or maybe we won't thank him depending on how you feel about Johnny Depp. But
Or the Pirates movies.
The next one is one of Ross's favorites.
Is it?
I think so, isn't it?
You always tell me what my favorites are, but I'm not
Is
sure.
it? I thought you said that you like this one.
I do.
I thought she's like one of your favorite people.
We'll talk more later.
Okay.
But
Ooh,
I just don't.
Throwing down, huh?
I just don't remember having this conversation before is more the problem. Which is probably more just me actually having forgotten than actually.
Or I'm a good guess and knowing you.
Maybe.
Anyway, go ahead, Ross.
Who is
it? Next we have Harrison Dula from the Rebels series.
Who's Captain's what ship?
Captain of the Ghost.
The Ghost, a VCX 100, which is also mentioned in Bluff in Solo when Han Solo's like, I've got the ship. He's like, oh, my ship against your ship. What ship do you have? And he's like, oh, VCX 100.
Oh, I didn't realize that's what it was.
And he's like, oh, that's a nice ship. And he's like, yeah, well, okay.
Pause for a moment while Ross writes that down for the next trivia episode, which, by the way, Carrie and I have been listening to the second, apparently, Thrawn book, not the first one like we thought we would.
Yeah.
There have been so many of your questions from that last trivia episode.
Oh, were there?
Were mentioned in that book.
Oh.
Yeah. Both the battle droids, both of their designations were mentioned. The designation of the Jedi Starfighter that Anakin flies was in there. Thrawn's name was in there, which was actually that was just from our Villains bracket.
Yes.
There have been several things that I've just been like, frickin', this is where he's getting all his questions.
It is not where I got my questions. I got them only from movies, but yes, they are mentioned in there as well. But yeah, the Ghost is also seen in, and this is the Ghost specifically, not a generic VCX 100, is also seen in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
At the Jedi Temple, there's a little corner shot of it, and then at the actual Battle of Scarif, you see it 2 or 3 times. 2 times for sure, maybe a third, I can't remember. Zipping around, shooting stuff. It's a beautiful ship. The Ghost is awesome. Next, I'm so excited for this one. And he totally qualifies for the list.
Yes.
This is Jason Nesmith playing Captain Peter Quincy Taggart, the fictional captain of the NSEA Protector from Galaxy Quest. This is Tim Allen's character. But we're not talking about Peter Quincy Taggart.
Yes.
We're talking about Jason Nesmith,
the actor.
Who plays, the character that Tim Allen plays, who plays a character. We're talking about that guy as the captain of the NSEA Protector. We've gone to Captain, like, Inception here. So, I can't wait to talk about him. It's going to be so good. Oh, man. Okay. Go, Chris.
All right, so next we have Captain Ruse Tarples, who has been disqualified due to not having a ship, but he's best known for being the only capable Gungan.
Yep.
The only tolerable capable Gungan. A captain in the Gungan Grand Army.
The only Gungan with a cool-sounding voice.
Yep.
Well, I guess Boss Nass I'm okay with his voice.
Yeah,
just the character was just dumb.
Yeah.
You know, I was even okay with the way he talks.
We can thank Captain Tarples for convincing us that Gungans are not all goofy idiots.
Universally irredeemable. Yeah.
That in fact it's possible that Boss Nass and Jar Jar are just real weird outliers, and maybe the Gungans are all right.
You want me to take this one seriously?
Read this dead serious, Ross. He counts.
I already had what I was going to say.
Do it.
I mean...
Do it.
Next up on the list is Horatio Magellan Crunch, otherwise known as
Captain Crunch.
He captains...
Ross, this is why he qualifies. Tell us the name of his ship, Ross.
His ship is called the Guppy.
Yep.
Which, again, lowercase the, it's Guppy, apparently.
Yep.
According to humorous 2013 Wall Street Journal article, the mascot, whose full name is Horatio Magellan Crunch, captains a ship called the Guppy and was born on Crunch Island in the Sea of Milk, a magical place with talking trees, crazy creatures, and a whole mountain, Mount Crunchmore, made out of Captain Crunch cereal.
He is definitely on this list, listeners. He has a ship. He is the rank of captain.
Had it would have been up to me, this would have been another, honorable mention.
Heck no, Ross. Heck no. This is amazing.
Fine.
Oh my gosh.
Fine.
I am so excited to have Captain Crunch on this list. If either of you had argued against this, I was going to fight so hard for this.
Oh no, I'm all for it.
All right,
so good.
Fine.
He is fictional. He has the rank of captain. He has a ship. What more do we want for this?
I guess we can see who takes this podcast seriously.
I am taking this dead serious. This is amazing. Oh, shoot. Yeah,
Wait,
Captain Crunch.
Were we supposed to be taking this seriously all this time? Oh, man. I'm sorry, guys.
The next one is Quarsh Panaka. I guess everybody from Naboo has really dumb first names. Padme, Quarsh, Sheev.
I'm just going to not say anything about the rest of Star Wars and go, sure.
I know. They seem particularly dumb in Naboo. But he is the captain in the Royal House of Naboo's security forces. This is, as they pointed out correctly in the prequel trivia episode, this is actually the second black man in the galaxy.
Yes.
He's the head of the security there. Anyway, he later becomes a Moff.
Really?
Yep, over Naboo. And realizes he sees Leia and is like, wow, you look exactly like somebody I used to know. The Emperor would probably want to hear about this, and then he gets blown up before he can make the phone call.
Huh.
Go read Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. It's really good. That's where it happens. Yep. Sorry to spoil that book, by the way.
Well, too late now.
Yep.
But
you want to take the next one, Chris?
Yes, I do.
Literary titan. You.
Next, we have Prince Dakar, a.k.a. Captain Nemo of the Nautilus. Best known for appearing in Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yep.
He also is of great significance in The Mysterious Island and makes a cameo in Journey Through the Impossible.
As well as League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes, he has also been featured in many adaptations, such as
he gets more hate than
League
deserves,
of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Well, the comics are pretty solid, but The Other Log of Phineas Fogg in Philip Jose Farmer's The Other Log of Phineas Fogg, if you want to find him there. But yes, he roams the seas in his submarine, the Nautilus, And he is the son of an Indian Raja. He is a scientific genius, and he is quite focused on vengeance against the British imperialist empire.
And he does actually care quite a bit about his crew, which is nice. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Next we have... Don't they ever just say commander in canon for this one?
Nope.
They say captain?
He's captain.
Okay. We have Captain Cassian Jaron Andor.
If he were a commander, he wouldn't be on the list, Ross.
Fine. He is a human male soldier, as appears in Rogue One, who started his career as actually an operative in the Confederacy of Independent Systems.
He fought for the baddies.
Betterwise, well, they're both baddies in that era, as we've just discussed.
Only one of them had a Sith openly leading them.
But the other one had a Sith privately
Secretly
leading them.
But which is worse?
Hindsight's 2020.
Okay, so he fought for the bad guys.
He fought for the Separatists in the Clone Wars.
Did they know that Dooku was a Sith, or was he just a fallen Jedi? Like, nobody ever calls him Darth Tyrannus. He's not walking around.
Yeah, they always just say fallen Jedi. But I mean, if you know anything about Jedi, which I figure the galaxy should know.
Well, there's a
that,
difference
at
between
least.
being a bad person and being a member of the Sith Order. Anyway.
Yeah.
Save
who
it
later...
for our Grey Jedi episode, Chris.
And now that's canon. We're doing it.
I hate you. Wait, what?
You just said we got to. We've just told everyone we're doing Grey Jedi episodes, and now we've got to.
Oh, I didn't realize this podcast had the power to make things canon. I'm going to use that power liberally.
It's our canon. So he started off for the Separatists, later joins the Rebels, and has a not really relationship with Jyn Erso.
He was also a Fulcrum agent, for those of you that have watched Rebels and know what that means. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yep. But he is disqualified because he does not actually captain a ship.
I'm looking at the order that these go in here, and I'm going to jump over you real quick, Kyler, and then we can go back to you, because that order will give me more that I can actually talk about instead of the next couple that I'm like, I have no idea who these people are.
Fair enough.
So, next we have Captain Steve Rogers in the U.S. Army, a.k.a. Captain America.
Yep.
Who, again, sadly, disqualified from this list because at no point do we, at least, I'm sure at some point in continuity in the comics, he has been captain of a ship.
Not that any of us were
practically, there is no point at which he is captained a ship, and so he does not belong
captain in the U.S. Army, 43 to 45.
Yes. However, excellent man, best known for being from America.
Super handsome.
And he was even still an honorary captain because he was advertising. Yeah. Depending on which universe you use.
Yeah,
right?
Depending on what you're doing, but he is Captain America. Yeah. It's in his title. Like, he's a captain.
Fair enough. All right, the next one, and probably best well known. I didn't want to fill this list with all of the possibilities that could qualify for this. We have CT-7567, otherwise known as Captain Rex of Clone War fame and Battle of Endor fame. The old man with the beard is Captain Rex.
Oh, really?
It's been retconned into continuity by... So when Han Solo runs around the corner like he doorbell ditches or whatever, and runs around the corner, there's the guy with the beard. That's Captain Rex.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
So he was a veteran clone trooper captain, an advanced recon commando, an ARC trooper, who oversaw Torrent Company of the Grand Army of the Republic's famed 501st Legion during the Clone Wars, and later served as a captain and commander of the Alliance to restore the Republic during the Galactic Civil War.
Good for him.
So, yeah, he lives a long, healthy life.
This is when you see the most in Clone Wars. He's a good guy.
Yep, he's awesome. And he is the favorite captain of one of my twins. The favorite clone of one of my twins. And the other's favorite is Cody. So, there you go.
So I guess it makes it my turn in the rotation.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Flipping the rotation there, yeah.
It's all good.
So next we have Captain James Hook. Yep. Is it T Hook, or am I just
no,
remembering that
you're trying
Captain
to,
Kirk?
You're trying to correct.
James Hook, that's it.
So this is the captain of Peter Pan fame.
Yep.
So
his
aptly named
is?
because hold on, he is so aptly named because he got his hand bitten off by a crocodile and replaced it with a very shiny hook.
Yep.
Captains in the original, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. Captains the Jolly Roger,
which is a brig, by the way. So a brig, for those of you that are unfamiliar with 1800s nautical vessels, a brig is a smaller ship, double-masted, very fast. So there you go.
Cool.
Other notable achievements are a fear of clocks.
Depending on the
crocodiles,
version.
yeah.
In the original, fear of seeing his own blood, which apparently was an unusual color.
Ooh, interesting.
Yes.
That's
I wonder.
wow.
Green? Is he a Vulcan?
We don't know.
Who also has a propensity to kidnap Robin Williams' children.
Yes. And may I just say, Dustin Hoffman. Yes, wonderful.
He
in that
is phenomenal.
And also sports a very thick shade of guy liner.
Yes, quite frequently, yes. Unless you have Jason Isaacs playing him, in which case it's a bit more subdued.
Right.
And Jason Isaacs was delightful, I would say. And then, otherwise quite forgettable in TV shows such as Once Upon a Time.
Okay. Next is Poe Dameron.
That's my turn.
Oh, sorry.
We flipped it. We flipped it so that I wouldn't have to
Fair
do
enough.
the next one.
Yeah.
So yes, Poe Dameron, formerly commander, finds himself demoted to the rank of captain by the end of The Last Jedi, and arguably could qualify for this list because he did mutiny and take over the ship. So he was very briefly, arguably, captaining that ship. However, those very circumstances kind of indicate that maybe he shouldn't be any of our picks for best captain.
Mutinous.
So,
Yeah.
but yes, Poe Dameron was
So,
in
yeah.
fact a captain, technically even captain of a
and
ship.
thanks to
Captain
episode
of the
8,
Raddus, briefly.
thanks to the end of episode 8, that's the only reason he qualifies for this list. Otherwise, he'd just be commander still.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is
Oh, I'm so excited for
played
this
by a
next one.
smoldery Oscar Isaacs.
Yes. Oh, he is. He's good looking. I'm just going to come out and say it. This next one I'm so excited for. James Eugene, Jim Raynor from StarCraft.
This was
Yes.
one of the reasons I switched it, because it's like, I'm not that
Oh,
StarCrafty.
man.
I can't really give you
Jim
much on
Raynor
Rick
is so great. For any StarCraft fans out there, he's been around since the beginning. But he doesn't get the rank of captain till I think StarCraft 2, isn't it? That's when, or is it the end of StarCraft 1?
I think it's in Brood War of StarCraft 1.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Because by StarCraft 2, he's just commander.
So he's just commander, and he's marshal at one point.
Yeah.
That's how he starts the game.
That's where
As
he starts
marshal,
the game,
like a local town marshal.
Yep.
But anyway, by the end of I think Ross is right. By the end of Brood War, which is the expansion to the first game, he is captain of the battlecruiser Hyperion. So he qualifies. He's awesome. He
usually has a cigar. Also seen
Yeah.
in Ready Player One, if you've seen
Yep.
that one. They have a quick Jim Raynor cameo.
Yep,
which
I saw
loved.
that. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Raynor!
Yeah.
He subdues and seduces the Queen of Blades.
Yes. Multiple times.
Yeah, lots.
Before
There's
and
a lot of
after.
love. Yep.
She's Queen of
All
Blades.
around. Yeah, there we go. Ross, take it away.
Next, we have someone I literally have no idea who this person
That is
is.
not true.
Which, by the way, on the rest of this list, I really know very few of them.
That's fair. A lot of these I might have to jump in on.
Yeah.
Because this is the section of the list where I started adding them on.
Yeah. This is Captain Alexander Smollett, who is captain of the Hispania in Treasure Island. Hispaniola,
Yes.
which I have never read. I have only ever seen the one cartoon.
I was going to say, most well known.
I've not
for being
seen the Muppet one, actually, either.
most well known for Kermit the Frog's portrayal of him in the inestimable Muppet Treasure Island.
Oh, it's so good.
But yeah, Alexander Smollett, a capable captain with who leads the captains of the Hispaniola on their quest to find the treasure in the eponymous treasure of Treasure Island, and encounters many problems from the mutinous crew and James Silver, but an honorable man who throws himself into harm's way to save other people.
All right, I'll take this next one because I actually know who he is.
Okay, go for it.
Horatio Hornblower, and again, these are fictional characters. There were a series of books written a long time ago. I actually have it. But Hornblower, he basically goes on all these crazy adventures. He's a British sea captain in the Royal Navy.
Napoleonic Wars era Royal Navy, written by C.S. Forrester.
So when were they written, though?
The first appearance, The Happy Return, in 1937.
Okay. So, almost 100 years ago at this point.
Getting there.
Wow. Anyway, but they're delightful adventures. He's kind of cocky, a ladies' man, he gets into all these scrapes. He is the inspiration for Kirk, or one of the inspirations for Captain Kirk.
Definitely a huge influence on Kirk and others.
Yeah. And there's a really great movie with Gregory Peck called Horatio Hornblower or something. I think it's called Horatio Hornblower.
I believe so.
Anyway, Gregory Peck, Horatio Hornblower. Google that phrase, you'll pull it up. And then also Ian Griffith, who's a Welsh guy, which is why his name is hard to say. Apparently is in a TV series of Horatio Hornblower, which I only discovered as we were going through this list before we started recording like a half an hour ago. So I'm going to actually have to go home and look that up, and my wife and I are going to watch it because we love Ian Griffith. He's terrific. I have no idea who this next one is, Chris.
Yes, I will take this next one. This is Captain Monkey D. Luffy of the good ship Going Merry, among others. From the manga and the anime One Piece. Monkey D. Luffy is a young man who gained the power of rubber, the ability to stretch his body, like Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic style, speaking of Johan Garfield. But after eating a piece of devil's fruit, which gives him all these fantastical abilities, but he cannot swim any longer. His powers are nullified and his strength is nullified by water. Well, mostly nullified, but which makes it a little difficult for him since his goal is to find the One Piece and become the king of all pirates. And so given that he is a sailor and all that, it's a little tricky. But yeah, he is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, and therefore he qualifies for this list quite handily. But one of the most popular mangas and animes of all time. And so definitely...
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything else about it.
Ross, do you want to do the next one, or do you want to skip when I can
you want to give this one to me?
Chris
maybe,
can do the next one?
I mean...
Chris, do the next one.
All right. Davos Seaworth, captain of the Black Betha in the Game of Thrones television show and the Song of Ice and Fire books upon which it is based. Davos was a smuggler who, during Robert's Rebellion, smuggled onions and other supplies into the besieged Stannis Baratheon and his other men, and because he knew they would give him the best price for his goods, and Stannis, in gratitude, knighted Davos, made him a lord. Davos took the last name Seaworth with Stannis' permission and became a lord, serving under Stannis and later under others, known as a man of impeccable honesty. And he was also, in order to become a landed lord, he was required to pay a price for his crimes, which was the knuckle of each of the fingers on, I think, his left hand. The first knuckle of each of his fingers. He basically lost the tips of his fingers across the board. And he keeps them in a pouch around his neck as a good luck charm, because that is the price he paid in order to basically secure a future for his family. They are now...
That's hardcore.
He was peasantry, and now he is a knight. He's known as the Onion Knight for bringing onions to Stannis' people. But yeah, I best know him as as Jon Snow's right-hand man in the later seasons of Game of Thrones. Just a great guy. And, well, I mean, as great as anyone on Game of Thrones gets.
And another note, he's not to be confused with the Onion Knight from the Dark Souls series. I was getting confused
slightly
about.
Different Onion Knight.
So next we have Jonas Grumby, who's better known as Skipper from the Gilligan's Island.
He captains which ship?
He captains the Minnow.
The SS Minnow.
The SS Minnow.
Yes.
The mighty ship, the Minnow.
As those of you who watched Gilligan's Island and or Scrooged in the last few weeks would know.
Yeah, Scrooged.
Scrooged, a Bill Murray movie wherein he stars as a version of Ebenezer Scrooge. It's a Christmas Carol style story. But
okay.
There's a point at which his brother's playing a quiz game and can't answer what is the name of the ship that took them all to Gilligan's Island, to Bill Murray's great frustration. The SS Minnow.
Yes. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with a late 60s TV series, wasn't that the time period?
That sounds about right, and or late 80s Bill Murray vehicles.
Yes. This was the captain and the ship that got lost on a 3-hour tour when a storm came up, which apparently threw the small crew and passengers of the SS Minnow so far out into the ocean.
Yeah, no kidding.
No one could find them for... Years and years.
Yeah. Well, people constantly found them.
Yeah. And they eventually floated their way back on a bamboo house.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. There was a movie later made of Gilligan's Island, which was
there's funny. A lot of... Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
The next two are from the same universe. Taranga Leela, captain of the Planet Express.
Taranga? That's her first name, Philip. Philip! Sorry.
And Zap Brannigan, captain of the Nimbus. Chris, I've never seen Futurama, so you're going to have to go into detail.
Captain Taranga Leela. Best known, if you haven't actually watched Futurama, she would be the Cyclopean alien, or mutant technically, with very large single eye in the middle of her face. Purple hair, white tank top, black pants, big black boots. She is quite the bamf. She is running around, kicking butt, taking names. She pilots the good ship Planet Express delivery ship, And, just all around quite the terrifying bad day. Zap Brannigan is technically captain of the Nimbus in the Dupe, the Democratic Order of Planets. His original character description was 1/2 James T. Kirk and 1/2 actual William Shatner. Yeah. So he's voiced by Billy West doing his best William Shatner impression, and he's basically an idiotic blowhard who continually lucks into his rank of general in the Dupe Army and Navy. And so he's not going to be anyone's pick for someone they want to serve under in this list, I guarantee that. Especially since when we first meet him, he's best known for his victory over a rampaging horde of killbots, which victory he achieved because he knew that killbots had a preset limit on how many people they would kill, so he simply threw waves and waves of his own men at them until they reached their limit and shut down.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Next on our list is another honorable mention.
Well, you've got to start somewhere, Chris.
Yeah, the rest of these are all honorable mentions.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have Captain Jack Harkness from the Doctor Who series, who was a he was a companion to the Doctor for a season, kind of does a recurring thing every so often. Also apparently becomes a giant face with head tentacles later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spoilers, sorry.
Who was also the main character in a spin-off of Doctor Who, Torchwood. He is a human from the
Earth.
Was it from Earth?
I don't know
if it was.
I have no idea.
I think so,
I hate
but
Doctor Who, so.
best known for being sexy John Barrowman.
Yes.
Yep, that is exactly right.
And he is from the future, has a little wrist time jumper thing.
Speaking of John Barrowman, I didn't realize until very recently, John Barrowman is the soloist Nazi in Springtime for Hitler before Hitler comes
Yes,
out.
he is.
That's
I forgot
John
about
Barrowman.
That is,
and I'm like, well, no wonder he does such a good job as John freaking Barrowman. If you haven't seen the producers, go ahead and just look up on YouTube Springtime for Hitler and then enjoy the next 6 to 7 minutes of your life.
Without context, it might seem a little odd.
Yeah. Know that it's a show about a Broadway musical designed to be the worst
They're
movie,
specifically
or the
trying
worst,
to be offensive.
yes, and to bomb. So
Yes.
they make a very offensive
But
play
yes,
called Springtime.
Captain Jack Harkness.
Well, other than that, and just being really sexy and apparently sleeping with basically everything he can get his hands on.
Yes, anyone and everything. Quite pansexual.
Yeah.
So he out Kirk's Kirk, huh?
Quite possibly, yeah. He also known for riding the TARDIS through time, like literally
on the outside,
grabbing
that's right.
onto the outside of the TARDIS because of his inability to die.
Yes.
And able to survive that.
I had forgotten that was a thing of his.
Yep.
Anyway.
Next on the list, we have a military captain, so like Jack Harkness, not technically qualified for this list, Captain John Yossarian, best known, only known for, he might have been in the sequel, I don't remember, known for Joseph Heller's book, Catch-22. This is the PTSD-suffering army captain who's just doing his best to get out of the war, but is caught by the army's weird Catch-22 rule, where you have to be crazy to be dismissed from leave honorably, but in order to be, if you want to leave the army, then you're not crazy, because who would want to be in warfare? And so it's Catch-22, you're trapped either way. That's where we get the term. But yeah, John Yossarian, not a bad captain, does care for the men under his command, but mostly anguishing over their constant deaths, because it's war and it's nasty and it's horrible, and eventually goes on the run to Switzerland to find.
Now I'm wishing I would have pulled like some captains from MASH or something.
Oh yeah, right.
Dang it! We'll save it for our Star Wars MASH crossover episode.
Yes.
Here we are, adding more canon.
Captain Marvel of Marvel Comics and Captain Marvel of DC Comics.
Yes.
Chris is going to have to explain this to me because I still don't understand.
I will do
how
my
this
best
happens.
to briefly. So, Captain Marvel of Marvel Comics, there have been a lot of Captain Marvels. The original would be Captain Marvel, who was literally a military captain and therefore qualifies for this list. Later versions were not necessarily captains, depending on which continuity you're reading, because it's comics and it gets really weird like that. Carol Danvers, who will be showing up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe shortly, seems to be retaining some sort of military rank, so it looks like she may actually be a military captain. but not necessarily captain of a ship, so probably not qualified for this. Nevertheless, yes, technically a captain, and there have been a lot of Captain Marvels, so it's hard to decide on that.
Yeah. One that you'll all probably, that we'll all, because honestly I don't know anything about her either until the movie comes out. But we'll all probably get to know better because I do understand she takes over for Captain America in the second half of the Civil War issues. Oh. So you have one Civil War storyline, which you've already had a movie of, but they did a second one where Captain America wasn't so much a player and Captain Marvel.
Well, in the way that the MCU appears to be setting it up is their plan is for her to take over Iron Man's spot.
You think so?
No, that's straight up what they've said. Like, Iron Man has been the central focus of this stage of the MCU.
Okay.
And their plan, from what I've heard, is they're saying...
This stage of the MCU?
This stage of the MCU.
You're saying we're going to get like 40 to 60 more movies?
You better bet they're going to ride this out as long as they can.
Honestly, well, I'm done.
The MCU will probably become like the comics and we'll just have movies.
Yeah, we'll see. But I am very intrigued to see how that works because the difference between those is... They started with Iron Man as the first movie, but it was more of a holistic approach of if Captain America had been more popular, you can bet Chris Evans would have been the central figure of this.
For sure.
It's just that Robert Downey Jr. pulled it off, and it was great, and they didn't have a need to move off of him. Whereas, so that was more of a holistic approach where it's like, okay, let's see what works. This worked. Okay, let's keep going with that. Whereas this is a different setup of we're going to step up and say, nope. We are that confident that Brie Larson is going to be able to take that spot that we are...
That is bold.
Yeah, it is bold. I'm intrigued to see how it goes.
And so far they've been right on those.
Yeah, they've been doing pretty well.
They do a good job.
But yeah, so doesn't technically qualify for this list. And the other Captain Marvel of DC Comics, who as of, I believe, 2011 has officially had his name changed to Shazam, which previously was only the name of the comics because of trademark issues with Captain Marvel of Marvel Comics. And because eventually, after like 40 years of that, they eventually decided, so many people just think his name is Shazam because that's the name of his comic book, that we're just going to formally change the character's name to Shazam. And we get to see him next year as well, played by Zachary Levi, which I love. I'm hoping that they pull that one off at all. But either way, I'm just looking forward to seeing Zachary Levi in what appears to be a massively padded superhero suit.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. I would like to think that he just got super ripped for it, but it does look like a padded suit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is our full list.
Our initial list that we
had. Yeah, the full, complete 100% of all universes everywhere list of captains.
Yes. Adequate, except for Barbossa.
We
just don't like Jeffrey Rush.
Yes. The adequate complete.
I like him even more than Jack Sparrow. No, so obviously there are lots of other captains out there. This is just our totally arbitrary list, as all of our lists are every time we do an episode. So now what we have done, before this show even started, before we talked about anything like that, all three of us wrote down our top 5 captains that we would like to serve under. So we are not the captain, we are not their buddy, we are a random crew member on their ship. Mm-hmm. We are a part of the crew. Although if any of us picked Star Trek ones, I would say we don't necessarily have to be red shirts. Right.
That would be nice.
That was the assumption, yeah.
You're a generic, member of the crew. And so then we had to ask ourselves, who would we like to serve under? Who would be the best captain to serve under? Now, our own individual reasonings for our picks may vary.
Yes.
There are no set of criteria for why we picked what we picked. It's just, who would you rather serve under? Go. So we are going to do it this way. All of us are going to say our 5th place pick, then our 4th place pick, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and then we'll do some honorable mentions. And then that'll be the episode, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chris, why don't you go ahead and start?
Sure.
Start us off.
All right. 5. My number 5 pick is Horatio Hornblower.
Ooh.
Now, Horatio started out as a midshipman, worked his way up to Rear Admiral, I think. So, but, he wasn't always a captain. But he was a captain of many ships.
Remind me who he is again.
Horatio Hornblower is the captain, the one upon whom Kirk was heavily based.
Oh, right. Okay.
Obviously Kirk influenced a lot of others. Mm-hmm. Horatio Hornblower was in turn influenced by a lot of real-life captains and their exploits, which adds some really nice veracity to him. But I picked Horatio Hornblower because... Well, for numerous reasons. A, because he was just a really great officer to serve. Like, he cared about his marriage. He was kind of a pinnacle of, you know, this 1800s idea of what someone should be. Like, he's a very honorable lord. He's very concerned for the welfare of his men. He's not
insane crew loyalty. Like, his crews
massively
love
loyal.
him.
He's not like some huge massive risk taker. He does go out on adventures and everything, but compared to what you get in a lot of sci-fi and fantasy these days, it's pretty tame.
He's concerned with avoiding throwing away life.
Yeah,
for
he's
no reason.
a good captain. You know, he's concerned for safety. He's not just jumping into anything anywhere. So, and I'm not gonna lie, a good chunk of my picks here are based on survivability. Like, how well do I feel like I will survive?
Mine as well.
I use the same logic on mine with Chris.
And so it was a survivability as a first factor, mostly, and then other factors beyond that. Horatio Hornblower had that great crew loyalty, so I felt like odds are pretty good that I'm going to enjoy serving under him pretty well. Like, and the reason he comes in at 5th place instead of higher is because, unlike most of the others on my list here, if I'm serving under Horatio Hornblower, I only get to go on a ship on the ocean, and I never get to see the stars. Or never go out into the stars.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because one of my higher ranks would also have that problem, but they got higher, but we'll get into that later.
Ross, go ahead.
So my 5th pick was actually Jim Raynor from the StarCraft series.
Good choice.
Yeah, Captain of the Hyperion that we mentioned before. I like Jim. He is a good guy. I think he also has that same quality if he doesn't want to throw life away, even though that is kind of the hallmark of StarCraft.
Yeah, especially if you play Zerg like I do.
Yeah, but the Hyperion itself is still the Hyperion, so it's doing okay.
Yeah.
So if I were to be a crewman on the Hyperion, it would probably be fine.
And Jim is also, he's quite willing to throw himself into danger to save subordinates.
Yes. Well, and the fact that he has a very well-used thing of battle armor when normally commanders don't go into battle. You know, I mean, that's a man you can admire, and actually, you know, I can follow that man. To quote, who is it in The Hobbit, in the movie?
I don't watch the Hobbit movies, I can't tell you.
It's, he's talking about Thorin and how he's at the Battle of
Katie Holmes.
Of Moria.
Tom Cruise.
No. And just saying, you know, you see Thorin and he's like, that's a man I could follow. That's a man that could be king. You know, that's the way I am with Jim.
Okay.
I don't know.
So. Yeah, I watched the first one once. It was okay. Watched the second one. Never had any desire to watch it again, or the third one.
Alrighty.
So.
Okay.
In all seriousness.
Oh dear. I'm betting on, hold on. Who do you think is his number 5?
Captain Crunch.
That's what I was thinking as well.
You're both correct. Horatio Crunch is my 5th
is.
choice pick, because we're going to cruise the Sea of Milk. It's a magical place. Talking trees, crazy creatures. Doesn't say monsters. Just says crazy creatures. I'm going to be pretty safe.
Until some child eats your ship.
No! They don't eat the guppy.
We don't know
You
that.
eat the cereal.
Even
I love Berry Colossal Crunch. Hey, you know, my life is going to be pretty chillax.
But can you eat nothing but Berry Colossal Crunch for the rest of your life?
I don't see anywhere in this lore where it says that's the only thing I'm
It literally
required
says
to eat.
that the island and the mountain are made of
cereal.
crunch.
Yes, but are those the only places in existence on this planet where we're at?
Seems likely.
Well, I haven't seen any other that butts up against a sea of milk, so...
Either way...
you've got a sea of milk, you've got an island made of Captain Crunch cereal, and I would wager that maybe there's some plants on there that all grow crunch berries.
Either way, I stand a pretty low likelihood of dying, I think.
Do you think the island gets soggy?
Scurvy, I mean...
But like, I mean, how
Either
long does
way,
cereal
Horatio
last?
Crunch is
It's
my
magical,
choice.
though.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay.
Horatio Crunch is my 5th choice pick.
Fair enough.
All right.
Russ, do you want to take your 4th?
Sure. So my 4th place pick was our luckily Star Wars related captain on here, Captain Solo.
Yep.
Now,
wait, is this your only Star Wars pick?
No, he's got 2.
No, I've got one more.
I'm the only one who didn't pick any Star Wars picks. Sorry, audience. I know this is a Star Wars podcast.
We're so adequate. So I do have a little bit of a problem with the moral implications of Captain Solo's
Of course you would. I would have no qualms.
But he does eventually end up doing the right thing, which I can.
We've actually got 3 smugglers on this. We got him and Reynolds and Davos Seaworth.
Yeah. For strictly by the concept
Well,
of
and
the ends.
Harrison Dula as well. She smuggles.
Yeah. The ends justify the means. that's how I
All right, you heard it here, listeners. The ends justify the means. Ross Hansen, 2018. No,
That is
2019. Sorry.
No, it's
Oh, yeah.
still- well,
By the
by
way,
the time this comes
this
out.
episode is our first episode of the new year. I was going to say this at the beginning, and I totally forgot. Welcome to 2019, listeners. Oh.
How adequate.
the ends justify the means would be what I tell myself to get through serving on his crew. That is not my own moral.
So what we're saying is
Compass.
Ross would be okay serving as an Imperial Stormtrooper because the ends justify the means, and that's how he'd get through his day.
Very infrequently do the Empire's ends end up in an okay place.
Ross is justifying Nazi
Nope.
mentalities. That's
Nope.
what I hear, listeners.
Nope, that is not at all what Kyler... No.
See, my main thing with Solo as a captain is, I don't really know what it would be like serving on his crew because he doesn't really have
He doesn't
a
really
crew.
have much of a crew, yeah.
He's captain in that he owns
It's
a
him
ship.
and Chewie,
Well, see.
and then occasional, like,
Randos.
like hitchhikers, you know? Like,
But he for those hitchhikers that do serve under him,
I
it's a good
guess
experience,
it's not
it
on
seems.
the ship, but I guess you could make this argument. The Rebel Pathfinders on Endor that Han Solo, he does lead them.
That's
Those are
true, we do
his
see that.
crew in that sense.
well, and even just the way
And that
that
could,
he...
that would actually not be bad. If you're under Captain Solo as your captain, he's gonna go off with a couple of significant people and have an adventure while you all wait safely behind. Like, I can get behind that.
Unless you're hunting Rathtars.
Yeah.
In which
there
case
is
he
that.
tosses you
So-
to them.
No,
to
he
himself.
tossed one of his enemies at them, not any.
No,
of
but he
these
talks
people.
about how the
How he
crew,
used to have a-
how he used to
Yeah,
have
that's
this
true.
big of
He
a
used
crew,
to-
and
that
now
is a
they're
good point,
only.
yeah.
I choose to believe that was sarcasm, that it was just him and Chewie.
I don't
but,
think so.
That'll
I don't
help
either.
you get through serving under him until
Yeah.
the Raptors get you.
But I mean, like, you look at Rey, so as long as I know how to take care of the Falcon, which I'm pretty good with mechanical things, so I mean, I'd be fine.
As long as, you'd be fine serving under him until he ran into his son.
Well, then I'm not serving under him anymore.
It's true.
And then it's Chewie and Rey, and it's even better.
And then you've lost your plot
Well,
armor.
arguably, yeah.
Well,
I know
no.
he's still got Chewie and Rey. Like,
Yeah,
that's
the
true.
randos serving on the crew never have plot armor.
Alrighty. I'll go next then. Here we go. My number 4 pick, Captain Alexander Smollett.
Ah.
But only the Muppet Treasure Island version. Because here's the deal. I'm pretty sure every single person on both sides, the mutineers and the loyalists, come out alive of that adventure.
No. Dead Tom dies.
Oh, Dead Tom dies. That's true. But he's one of the mutineers, so as long as I stay loyal to Captain Smollett,
Yeah, you
I'm
got
going
pretty
to come
good
out
odds there.
okay. Not only come out okay, but with the Treasure Island's wealth.
But
You know?
only if you are in the Muppet version.
That's why I specified,
Which
but
you
only
won't
Muppet
be,
Treasure Island.
Which you won't be,
Why not?
because the only way to serve under Captain Smollett in the Muppet version and not be Jim Hawkins or John Silver is to be a Muppet.
Well, maybe they could, like with the what's his face from How I Met Your Mother, when and Sheldon, where they made them into Muppets. Maybe I could get Muppet-fied, and there
He
could be
he had a
Kyler
reflection
Muppet.
that looked Muppety, but then it was gone.
Yeah, well, take that magical mirror and
No, I'm afraid that if you end up under Smollett, you're probably in a more dire, deadly version of that
True,
tale.
but unless I am Dead Tom, which I'm not, then I'll still be alive, and
We'll see. I mean, I don't think he'd be bad to serve under. Maybe if you can serve.
let
under
me
him
have
as
it, Chris.
as
Let
a-
me be myself, serving under Kermit the Frog. All right.
All right, cool. You serve under Kermit.
Not to
That'll be
mention, because it's Kermit the Frog playing Captain Smollett.
Yes.
So I could be me. I could be Kyler playing one of Captain Smollett. Playing his crew.
cool. Only if you're significant to the plot, though. Only significant to the
Maybe.
plot characters get to be humans in Muppets,
Okay, fine.
unless you're like you get Muppet Christmas Carol, where Scrooge is of course human. Michael Caine being the most delightful Scrooge.
Oh,
ever.
he's so fantastic.
And his nephew Fred gets to be human because he's related to Scrooge, so logically he has to be. But
Alrighty.
all right, so my number 4 pick here is Captain Malcolm Reynolds of
Ooh.
Firefly and Serenity. Captain of Serenity. This is the only one where other factors beyond survivability really trumped other things. really trumped survivability, whereas, like, I'm not that convinced of my survivability rate under Captain Reynolds, which is why he's only down at number 4. But he's on the list because it's Serenity.
Yeah.
I know Captain Reynolds is insanely devoted to his crew. He adores them. He takes good care of them wherever he can. It's just the limitations of his ability to do so that scare me. Mm-hmm. And those limitations are significant in the world he inhabits. And so that's a little nerve-wracking. But at the same time, you know, I'm on that crew. I've got River Tam to hopefully protect me, as long as I stay on her good side. You know, and I've got Simon there to patch me up and to be oblivious to Kaylee, so hopefully I can just step in between there before he starts paying attention. Yeah. And to say nothing of Inara, like, I don't even know what... Yeah, that's a little weird. But
I think Mal would have problems with you stepping in between that relationship.
And I probably would not.
Yeah.
I also am not entirely comfortable with the whole entirety of the companion's profession. So I might be a little just standoffish of that anyway. And of course, we're assuming in this scenario that I am not married, in which case, you know, sorry, Kaylee, I'm not interested. But if we took me right now and dropped me in there, no, that's not happening. But nevertheless, you know, we've got River, we've got Jane threatening me, but probably never killing me because he's more afraid of Mal than he. Then he wants to kill me.
Fear will keep them in line.
Yes, exactly. And I get to hang out with Wash and play
dinosaurs.
Wash. Yeah, until the Reavers decide to clean their spears, and then.
I like that.
But as long as I'm not a leaf on the wind, I should be all right in the long run, right?
Yeah. See,
because he got cocky.
Yeah, or as long as I don't leave the crew like Shepherd Book.
The only reason why I don't have him on my list is I feel like serving on that crew would be way too much stress.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of potential for that. Yeah.
Yep.
That would be intense, and that's why he's low on my list, because it's like, oh yeah, the survivability is not there. It's dangerous, it's frightening, it's tense, but it's...
Mal ends up being a good captain, but no one knows it till they're done.
I wouldn't say that.
Most of the time.
I'd say it was pretty clear from episode 1, but...
That crew, every single time Mal says something is, I don't know, Mal. And then it ends up being fine.
Yeah.
But every single time...
A good captain. Just because the rest of his crew is slow on the uptake doesn't mean
every single time the rest of his crew is white-knuckling, basically, wherever they are, unless they have a job.
Good reason to, though. Those are some scary situations.
I don't think my heart could take it.
That is legitimate. I do, yeah. I don't
That's
know
why he's not on your list.
That's right.
It's Serenity, but Chris's heart can take it.
No, maybe. It's just, I just love Serenity that much.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, so that brings, I think that's Kyler's turn to do number 3.
3. All right, my number 3 is Captain James Hook.
Really?
Yeah. We've got
a baddie.
You think that bothers me? So his ship is magical. It can fly through the sky, which is pretty cool.
No. It's only magical once Peter Pan takes it over.
Okay, that's fair. Well,
there's never any point where it leaves the ocean.
That's fine. I'll give it to you. So we're in Neverland, though, where magic is a thing. But also, whether you are looking at the Robin Williams Hook, whether you're looking at Disney's...
Nobody's looking at Disney.
Disney's Peter Pan. I'm going to ignore the piece of trash that is Once Upon a Time.
Yeah. That's right. Although that would be the one. I
don't see anywhere Captain Hook's crew dying.
You need to go back and pay more attention to. Hook,
he kills he drops the blue box.
No. But that's throughout that battle with the Lost Boys at the end. Tons of pirates die.
Actually die?
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of fighting, but I don't see a lot of people dying.
Well, Rufio has to kill a couple. He's running around with an actual sword.
Yeah. He cuts down a couple, and then also you're limiting to the lighter versions of this. If we go into the original J.M. Barrie play,
fair enough. If
we go into the delightful Jason Isaacs portrayal of Captain Hook, that is a terrifying ship to serve on.
I was thinking Disney, and I'm going, okay, so no, I don't see any crew die. But here's my further justification. 1, he is a pretty good pirate, getting his booty and stuff.
Is he, though? Pretty obsessed on Peter Pan at that.
Sure.
You don't actually see him do anything other than terrorize
But also,
I
would feel kind of okay. I mean, while dressed as a pirate, I, Kyler, have, in real life, cut a guy's arm open with a sword. while dressed as a pirate,
Yeah.
fighting on a narrow rooftop. So I've done some piratey things. For reals, the guy had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw the guy. He came into the store that was down the street from where this happened that I was working at.
Yep.
Holding his arm. Looking for bandages, and all of us were like...
He sure was.
I remember that. I was there.
He sure... Oh, that's right. You were there. That's right. I forgot. Were you actually watching the fight, Chris?
I wasn't watching the fight. I just saw the aftermath.
You probably saw me running into the theater and going, oh no. Anyway, so I've successfully pirated, so...
That was fair. My main problem with James T. Hook is that... Oh man, we should have had the pirate captain from the Pirate King from...
Oh! Yeah, from Pirates of Penzance.
Pirates of Penzance.
Dang it.
I might have put him on my list.
Dang,
anyway, my main problem with James T. Hook is that in Hook, Robin Williams' Hook, and in most versions of Peter Pan, the greatest threat to the lives of Hook's crew is Hook himself.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the Boobox guy, but he shoots other members of his crew in that movie.
Right.
Just straight up, just...
That's true. Okay, it's been a while since I've seen Hook. But anyway, I mean, it's just awesome. What a cool, like, to be in Neverland and stuff. That's way cool.
Yeah, that's fair. And if you're in Neverland, whether you're human or a child, or whether you're an adult or a child, because children are humans, you got that immortality thing going as long as Hook doesn't kill you, or the Lost Boys. But yeah, you're going to live, so that is nice.
Depending on how you feel about immortality, I mean, there's a debate.
I feel
there
great
as well.
about immortality.
Yeah.
Let me be a vampire, but not a sparkly dumb one.
Yeah,
a cool one. Like a sexy one.
My
sexy Dracula.
number 3 pick is Jason Nesmith playing Captain Peter Quincy Taggart.
Oh, I'm glad he's on somebody's
Quest.
list.
Yeah, I put him on there because Galaxy Quest is a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, most of the members of that crew survive. Like, there are some red shirt deaths off to the side here and there.
But even so, even for red shirt deaths, they're very minimal.
Yes,
there's like 3 or 4 people that die.
Compared to what this is parodying, it's very light on the deaths. And yes,
Nesmith
has no idea what he's doing.
On the good guys' side, I think only one main character dies.
One main character.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And then beyond that, I'm trying to think of other people that die, and I think there's a point where there's like an explosion that sends some people flying out into space. No, those are bad guys.
But I'm pretty sure that happens to the good guys at some point. It's been a while though. Either way though, it's still a very low mortality rate for space captains.
They open up the air vent and they're all dying.
There's that too,
but they don't die.
Yeah, but
they
those
get
get saved. But there are a few that do die, or at least it's implied they die. But nevertheless, it's a very low mortality rate as far as space captaincy goes.
But, once he takes command, though, very few people die.
He doesn't really know what he's doing, but it's a comedy. He'll muddle through. He'll be alright. Like, I'm relying on the genre to keep most of us alive there. It's not black.
And most of the danger
comedy.
happens to the main characters, which you're not going to be.
Exactly.
So,
and as long as I don't affiliate too closely with them or become too red shirty, I'm alright.
Yeah, just stay in the middle zone.
I can't die to be their motivation. But I also can't be too red shirty, so I just die off screen or get tossed out into space. I should be alright. And I'm relying on the conventions of the comedy there. It's not darker comedy. There's a reason I did not pick Turanga Leela, capable as she is, because Futurama is the type of show that will murder off someone for humor. And so, I'm not going to be there.
But Chris, would you have a name?
Probably not. Not if he wants to live.
If I have a name, but I'm mostly off to the... Basically, I want to be Rainn Wilson's character there. Rainn Wilson, that played Dwight in The Office, he's one of the aliens in there. And he's just recognizable and significant enough to... I don't think he ever is actually given a name, but he's recognizable, he keeps showing up, and nothing bad happens to him. That's
true.
who I want to be.
There you go.
That was more supposed to be a joke about the one guy's character who doesn't have a name and he starts freaking out. He doesn't have a name in the show.
Guy Fleetman.
Guy Fleetman.
Okay. Joke didn't land. On to the next.
I was thinking of Order of the Stick, where it's just like, they're nameless NPCs, they're gonna die. And it's like, I do too have a name. I don't know what they were doing. The one's laying there dying. It's like, I don't know what he's talking about. I have a name. It's Daigo.
I feel a lot better.
Actually, I feel a lot better.
And then they become like crucial NPCs later.
Because I was just like, wow, Maybe there was something to that whole having a name thing.
So good.
So what's your last name?
No,
I think I'm going to save it just in case of an emergency. Yeah, that's a good call.
Which I don't know that we have had their last names yet.
No, we never. When they get married, they take her last name
because they're
they
saving
had already
his.
said it, and so he's saving his.
Yeah.
And then every time he attempts to use his last name, he gets interrupted. And
Which
so
means
all we know is that it started with a D.
Yeah, which means we're gonna see it before the end of.
Oh,
this
I don't think
time.
we will. I don't think
You
we
don't
ever
think
will.
so?
Yep.
Oh man.
Anyway.
By the way, listeners, if you like D&D at all, go read Order of the Stick.
Ooh, hey, and
Giants,
actually, now that I think
in
about
the playground is where it's at.
what's his name? The captain of the airship.
Oh, Julio Scoundrel.
Yeah, Julio Scoundrel. I could take up with Julio Scoundrel.
Can I switch?
Nope, too late. We didn't have him in our opening. But
Okay, we'll have to do it on our part 2 episode of this.
So we're doing our number 3.
Yeah,
right?
number 3.
Number
Seven.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
My number 3 was actually, this is the one that I felt dirty about.
Oh no.
It wasn't Hall?
No. This is actually Captain Kirk.
Nice.
You know, I mean,
This is why I said you don't have to be a red shirt.
Yes. See, that's the thing is the Federation has a good reputation for people living on their crews. I mean, yeah, you know, the events that we see, people dying, those are the notable events. So in other words, relatively, there aren't very many of them. I just, think Kirk's just kind of a, I don't know. I don't even have a good word.
A scoundrel? A hooligan?
No. A goon?
A rogue?
Goon.
A scruffy nerf herder?
He's a bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I hate myself for saying I would serve on that crew,
Why not?
but I'd be fine on that crew.
I don't see what the problem is. I think
just
that's
don't
a
like
totally valid choice.
I mean, see, that's the thing is there are too many good points of it that, of course, it had to be my number 3. But I don't know. Yeah.
No, he's not on my list at all. So
Yeah.
I mean, I could see why he'd be a little. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
all right.
So, Chris,
Was that the
Number
last of
2.
number threes?
Yeah, that's the last of the 3s. Number 2. My number 2 is Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
really?
I did move him down to number 2.
Really? I thought for sure he was going to be your
It's
number
narrow,
1.
and I'm still kind of on the fence about whether or not I'd kick him back up to number 1.
Oh, dang. I can't wait to
Jean-Luc,
hear your
though.
number 1 then. Because, wow.
Jean-Luc
It'll be
is-
Captain Crunch.
No, Jean-Luc is probably the single most capable captain on this. I mean, I'd put him with Horatio Hornblower, but I get to be in space. He's cultured, he's civilized, he is all these good qualities that make you dubious about Kirk that he does have that Kirk did not. He's got them all. Now,
And in spades.
And in spades. Yeah, he's just a great guy. I would be honored to
Yeah.
serve under Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Not to mention that in the Star Trek universe, if you are assigned to the Enterprise, specifically the Enterprise under Picard, like, it is an honor.
Yes.
Like, it is not something they hand out willy-nilly. It's you're
Yeah.
with the best of the best that the Federation has to offer.
Absolutely. And so it's like, yeah, there are some frightening situations
Which
that
makes
could
you wonder how
result
they get
in
Wesley.
some... Yeah. Nepotism.
No, yeah.
It's nice to see that even in the peaceful Federation...
Corruption still exists.
The nepotism still is a driving factor in employment. But no,
Well-
Jean-Luc, I feel like...
It's nepotism and pestering enough.
Yeah.
It's a nepotism for the doctor, but she pesters the captain.
That's how nepotism works.
But I look at, say, I look at Nemesis or something... Being on Picard's crew is not a guarantee of surviving.
Right.
Even if you're not a red shirt. It's a scary universe. So but I feel like the honor of serving under Picard, I could respect him enough to make the risk.
Yeah.
And so that's why, that's the main reason he got down to
So that
number
was like
2
one
is the
was
survivability
yours
issue.
that was like that, where you're like, can't believe you put him in number 2, Chris. I was so confident. I am so bummed, Chris, though, that you didn't pick Picard for your number 1. I was so confident in it. I was gonna have us all shout out our number 1s at the same time.
Yeah, no, I was surprised myself. It wasn't until I actually started writing this down just before we started recording that I went, actually? You know what?
I
think
can't
he's
wait to
bumped
find
down
out
one.
who's number 1.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so what's the order now? Who's doing their
I
number
think
2?
number
start?
twos.
Number 2?
Russ's turn, I think?
Oh yeah, you just barely started.
Yeah,
with
I
number
started
two.
number
Okay,
two,
that's
so-
right.
So, my number 2 is now Harris and Dula.
High five, Ross.
Was
Mine
yours
too.
as well? Nah,
Harris
there we
my
go.
number 2.
All right. Tell us about Harris.
You would do it better than me.
Okay, so she's a Twi'lek from Ryloth. Her father is Cham Syndulla of Clone Wars fame. of the Free Ryloth movement there from the Clone Wars.
He's red, if I remember right.
He's kind of like a peachy orangish color a little bit. She's green. She's got cool tattoos on her.
I wonder how their skin colors transfer.
Yeah, I don't know.
The genetics of Twi'leks work.
Yep.
Since they can apparently have children with humans too.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta offer a retraction on that. They're just his adopted kids.
Oh, okay.
So I was looking at that episode later, and I was like, dang it. So
well, that just invalidated a huge chunk of our discussion.
Yep, exactly. Anyway, she is the captain of the VCX 100 Ghost. The Ghost from Rebels. She's one of the main characters in Rebels. She's a really, really strong female character, which is cool. She's really hot, so they're good on that. Bring it back down. And she is a pretty awesome leader in the rebellion. Like she and her rebel cell there that the show Rebels focuses on is a pretty huge, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like they sort of help the rebellion get off their butts and actually get into gear, largely because of the actions of that rebel cell, and that's because of what she's doing. She's the one who is... I mean, Kanan and Ezra are the main characters of the show, but in universe, Hera's the driving force. She's the one saying, I've made this deal with these people to go smuggle these things to these starving people. Let's go, crew. Like, she's the one in charge. She's just awesome. Mm-hmm. Killer leader. She's a good shot with a blaster.
Great pilot.
Great pilot. She very much cares about her crew. They are her family. Mm-hmm. She is definitely the mama bird of her crew.
Very strong moral center.
So if you're a part of her crew, she is going to take care of you to the very best of her ability, which is not insignificant.
Yeah.
Hera's great.
Yep.
She's also an absolute beast in Armada. The Hera Syndulla squadron. She is obnoxiously good. I hate fighting against her. Oh, man.
Remember that for our next time we play.
Yep. Yeah, she's great. She can let, like, squads. Or she has relay, so she's got great abilities in Armada. She's fantastic. Yeah, Hera Syndulla, man, just great.
And I have not seen Rebels, so...
She goes toe-to-toe with Thrawn, like... In terms of, like, intimidation, he's, like, trying to talk her down and stuff like that, and she's just like, screw you! Like, right to his face, bound, guards all around, and she still is, like, spitting in his eye, basically. I'm just like, dude, you rock, Hera. Mm-hmm. She's way cool. Awesome. She is the only Star Wars person on my list.
Which is a shame.
Yep.
I didn't
and mostly because I feel like like everybody else, I would stand a pretty good chance of survival as a part of her crew.
Yes.
Because... until they sacrifice themselves, Kanan and Ezra, when they sacrifice themselves, everybody else
I just
lives,
barely realized that you guys are saying Hera Syndulla, not Harrison Dula. I was like, that's a weird name for a woman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, her name is Hera, like Zeus's wife, Hera.
Yeah.
Syndulla.
I even read this on the list, so I should have known, but I just...
And then her
called
father
her
is
Harrison
Cham
a second ago. And I was just like, that's weird.
Yeah, so there you go. Alrighty, Chris, who's your number 2?
My number, I already gave my number 2.
But I think he should also go first.
Yeah,
as number
Ross,
1.
let's just do our number ones.
No.
Oh,
he should do his number 1 first, so that we can be last and be right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fine with
go
me.
ahead, Chris.
There's 2 against 1, I assume. Here, so that's fine with me.
I'm pretty sure we have the same.
And I know
number
exactly why you didn't choose this, because neither of you know him. I chose Monkey D. Luffy for my...
What the crap, Chris?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so hear me out here. Monkey D. Luffy.
Is this the anime one?
This is the one from One Piece, yes.
Or manga, I guess.
Manga, anime, he's in both.
It's all the same.
Most manga gets adapted to anime at some point, and the rare anime that gets just made as an anime and not as a manga usually gets adapted into some manga. So, Monkey, Straw Hat, Luffy is actually, I believe, his first name. They have them in reverse order in Japanese style, but... So... I found this little description of him that I was like, yeah, that is a good summation. I have not seen or read a lot of One Piece, so I'm not hugely familiar with his exploits and stuff, but I have seen enough to know that I'd be okay serving with him, and I liked some descriptions of him that I was reading online here. Optimistic, generally good-hearted, not as dim-witted as many believe him to be. He is actually he's described as that he enjoys playing stupid. but he is actually quite capable.
like heroes like that, though.
Yeah,
I think about the Scarlet Pimpernel. You know?
He's quite clever. Despite his carefree personality, each crew member respects him in their own way. He is rarely concerned about the consequences of his actions. I'm okay with that. Doing what he feels in the moment. He is an extremely loyal captain who has demonstrated throughout the series that he is willing to risk his life for the well-being of his crew. And he does, to an extreme degree. Like, he cares about his crew. And they do all respect him. Even though... And now, this is a comedy. This is goofy. This is on the lower age range of, like call it teen or even tween age manga. Like, you're looking at kind of the Dragon Ball Z's here, these sort of things. It's not. But that's precisely part of why I put him first, is because not only is he extremely capable, is he extremely devoted to his crew, but again, it's that comedy thing. I'm almost certainly going to survive here. Like, the survivability in this age range, this kind of comic, where this is a mostly comedic, occasionally dramatic story. Great survivability. I don't get out into the stars, which is sad for me, but that particular universe is wacky and crazy enough that I'm not going to get bored. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm probably going to survive. And even if I don't somehow, like, I know that characters have died, and some of them may have been crew members. I don't even know. I'm not familiar enough. But I can guarantee you that if I am a member of his crew and I do die, I will know that my death means something.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a good death. It's either going to be meaningful, I get to die a hero, or it's going to be a tragic motivator for all my friends. So either way, it's like I am at least either guaranteed of survival or a good death. And
that's good.
And most likely the survival.
If you're going to die, you might as well make it a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus there's magic and all sorts of fun, crazy stuff that could happen. I could get all sorts of fun abilities. Who knows? Sure. So I'm all for that. Yeah. One Piece it is. Plus, it's an anime, so there are improbably proportioned women left and right. That could be all sorts of fun to bring it back down, as you said.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Ross, do we want a high five before we say our answer or after?
Sure.
All right.
That wasn't a good one. Hold on.
Better.
We
want to do? We'll save the third one for after. How's
Sure.
that?
There we go.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Picard.
Yeah. High five. There
I mean, it's honestly, it's just the obvious choice.
He is so great. So
he was my first choice until I really got to considering Monkey, and I was like, Luffy would be pretty solid survivability is what I think.
So here's my thinking, where not guaranteed, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. So Picard, if we do have a hostile encounter, there's a high likelihood Picard's going to be able to talk his way out of it without firing a shot.
Yep.
Like,
exactly.
A lot of the time. Unless it's the Borg, that's true. Well, but that's what I'm saying. But like,
he still does that to the Borg once too.
Yeah, 75 or 80% of the time.
Better than anyone else in the fleet.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Once out of several encounters with the Borg, like.
But I'm talking. You're looking at 75, 80% of the time when there's a potential hostility about to happen. You're going to walk away just after he talks for a couple minutes. You don't even have to fire a shot, which is great. Then, of those 15 to 20% where it doesn't, or 20 to 25%, sorry, math is hard, where you do actually fire a weapon, there is actual shots being fired somewhere. Most of the, a percentage of those times, the Enterprise just outclasses whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they fire a couple of shots and then the other people back down, so that's another good high survivability.
You have crew members falling around in a
You've got
hallway,
falling around, that's true.
But you don't hardly see anyone actually
die from that.
No one's ever vented into space.
Yeah, well, not in the TV show. In the movies, you get
That's what I was going to say. It's like, you're safe with Picard as long as you're not in a movie.
Yeah.
In the TV show, you've got a higher
I'm thinking TV show
right.
is what I had in mind. But specifically, where I'd want to be in the crew, I would want to be a red shirt in Picard's crew, because the red shirt are the command crew.
Well, they've always,
No, they haven't. In the original, with Kirk, the red shirts are security.
Right.
And they're the ones who get thrown into danger because they're security. By the time you get to Picard, they've swapped colors. Red is command. The gold is security.
No, gold is engineering.
And security.
No.
Tasha Yar is head of security.
Tasha was gold, you're right.
Worf is head of security.
I'm thinking the new movies. I'm sorry. You're right.
Which, again, is engineering in the new movies, which are set in the Kirk time period.
But it was also security, because the two red shirts, because Scotty wears a red shirt, but also the two guys in the second one that he says he brings with him. And the guy that he beats up in the
red.
bar that
They're
ends
red.
up serving on him. Yeah.
They're red
Well,
shirts.
those are the students wear red, but that's...
No, in the
but they're
bar
even-
later in
yeah,
the second
they're
movie,
also
it's the
red.
same guy that
second-
beats him up
yeah,
in the first one.
I feel
Anyway.
fine.
Anyway,
matter.
red shirts are security first line in Kirk's time, but by the time you get to Picard, it's gold shirts. So if I'm a red shirt, I'm going to be sort of close to the main characters. I might be able to have some plot armor save me there. And I'm also not going to be the first in line. Alternatively, as a red shirt, I could potentially be a corrupt Federation admiral, which I'm totally fine with.
But see, if you're close to the main characters, but you're not one of them, you've got plot armor until a movie. And that's
Yeah,
when they're
well,
gonna
you
murder
know.
you off. Really
But again,
fast.
then I could, have a motivating death. Who knows?
Or you just end up one of the Borg. And Picard loses
Which
his
I'd be
crap trying to kill you all.
I'd be okay with that too. I love the Borg. But yeah, Picard, man, dude is classy. He's got the gravitas.
Yep.
He's just fantastic. The only problem is that I have to compete with Riker for the ladies.
Well, but also in doing
Presuming
your
I
job,
go into this universe unmarried.
Again,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
in doing your jobs, he's very good about showing appreciation.
Yeah.
The telling you did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does care for his crew. I mean, that's his first... I mean, every episode with Q, the first words out of his mouth almost are, "Okay, Q, take me, do whatever, play whatever games you want with me, let my crew be fine and leave them alone."
Yeah.
He's... Anytime he can make that bargain of, take me, save the crew, he is always willing to make that bargain.
I mean,
Absolutely.
honestly, he's the epitome of a perfect leader.
He is. He's great.
And he
I would
doesn't-
have no problem following him anywhere. Plus, I would get to see a lot more of the galaxy with him than pretty much anybody else on my list. Even more than Hera. We get to see a little bit of the Star Wars universe, which would be cool, but just for sheer novelty, I'd be all over the place with Kirk, or with Picard, I mean.
Picard, yeah.
So, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
See, so my takeaway from this is, because I agree, Picard's awesome. He was my number one until very recently, and even now, it's like I said, I'm back and forth. Mainly I'm going for genre survivability, and so that's very meta reasons. But what I'm mainly hearing from now is that we really need someone to give us a really solid captain in the Star Wars universe. Come on.
Yeah.
Give us someone to top Picard in Star Wars, please.
That would be pretty dang incredible.
Yeah.
See, and I would say Akbar, but he's an admiral.
He's an admiral.
He is
So
an
he's
admiral,
on
and we
the
never...
list.
Yeah, well, he's an admiral.
Wait a
You
minute.
can still captain a ship as an admiral, but we never have it explicitly stated that he is fulfilling the role of a captain of a ship as an admiral.
Doesn't Picard get an increase in rank in the movies?
He does.
Because he stays captain throughout the TV series, meaning your arguments of you die in the movies is irrelevant. Because it's out of our scope. We don't talk about the admirals, we just talk about them as captains.
Not in all the movies. In Nemesis, he's still captain.
Oh,
Nemesis is the last one, isn't it?
Pretty sure, yeah, and I'm pretty sure he's still captain.
I don't think so.
I think he's an admiral.
He's acting as a captain, though. He's
Oh.
acting as captain of that
Rank
ship.
of admiral acting as captain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is the rank of captain, but there is also captaining a ship. Anyone above a
Yeah.
captain can be acting as the captain of that ship, as
Yeah.
the person in charge
And I
of the
think
ship.
that also is why Admiral Akbar is disqualified as well, because even at Endor, he is acting as admiral, coordinating the entire
Yeah,
fleet,
but
while
we
there is
never show-
another
yeah.
Mon Cal who is actually
Yeah.
captaining Home One.
Okay.
Where we see like Vader, he outranks all the captains, but he has a captain running his ship.
Yeah.
As opposed to other situations
Just
where
like
a higher ranked
in
person might continue
Thrawn
to act as
Alliances.
captain.
Thrawn is an admiral.
Right.
He's giving orders, but Captain Pharaoh is actually
Right. Actually
captaining
doing
the Chimera.
Yeah,
Um,
and also arguably when we see Han Solo on Endor, he is acting as a general.
yeah.
He is General Solo at that point.
Well,
But
is
he
general,
is still
but he's
captain
acting as a
of
captain of
well, but
that
he's still
unit.
captain of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
He is still a captain in that
Yeah.
he owns and runs this ship.
Right.
But his military rank there is
But
general.
Akbar specifically, yeah, you see him running around in his swivel chair. He's literally swiveling between different stations,
Yeah.
checking on different information.
Yeah.
He's
And I mean,
admiral,
he
and
could
he's
still
not
could
captain.
act as a captain of a ship, but we never see any evidence
Yeah.
that he does that.
And I think, honestly, in Endor, he is too busy
Yeah.
to captain the
Yeah.
ship. He's literally
Running
coordinating
everything.
everything. Because he's not only coordinating the space battle, but he's also trying to coordinate with the ground troops also. He is literally running the entire show.
Well, because I'm thinking Picard does that once against the Borg in First Contact when they roll up to fighting that Borg cube. Whoever was acting as the fleet commander at that point had died, and so that was the thing. Is Picard shows up and is like, "Hey, let everyone know I'm taking control."
Yeah, I'm the ranking officer here.
Yeah. So
But within the Star Wars universe, since this is a Star Wars podcast, I would probably go for Harrison Dula from the sound of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty
She's awesome. I wish Rebels had gone on for a little longer, because I would love to see Hera at the command of a capital ship.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome.
And,
she's a great fighter pilot, which is why she preferred to stay more in that arena, but boy, to see her actually lead a little flotilla of rebel ships would have been so cool. Oh, I guess I guess he was an admiral, so he couldn't be for this list, but Sato, Commander Sato from season 2 of Rebels.
But did he captain a ship? Like,
he did.
Holdo is vice admiral,
yeah,
but
he
she
did.
still captains that ship effectively.
The Pelta cruiser.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like Holdo, we could term a captain because she effectively captains that ship.
Granted, he loses it
because the entire
to Vader, but
yeah.
Well, but so does Holdo when we see her actually doing stuff, but she has a reputation behind it.
Yeah. Well, and Holdo, like she's captaining that ship despite being an admiral, but it's because the entire command crew has been lost. Like, as far as we know, if there was a captain acting as captain of that ship, they're gone. So she's effectively captaining that ship.
So we let's do our honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, honorable mentions.
So honorable mentions for me: Han Solo,
yes,
Malcolm Reynolds. No question, those two get honorable mentions from me. They're just fantastic. I will give a shout out to Captain Nita, who's one of my favorite upgrade cards in Armada, mostly because
I would never give any honorable mention to any Imperial captain, because if you're on an Imperial ship, it's just a countdown to when you explode.
Yep. Yeah, in fact, your survivability goes down the higher your rank.
Yes.
The closer you are to Vader, the more likely you are to die.
Which is
and just inevitably, if you're on a capital ship, odds are good that some plucky band of rebels is going to explode you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 from the Star Wars universe. They're just fantastic. I mean, or I guess 2 from Star Wars and then Malcolm Reynolds. But
yeah.
I mean, you might not have great survivability with Solo or Mal, but don't tell me you wouldn't have a ton of fun along the way. Like, it would be one heck of an adventure.
Yeah. That's I would give Solo one of my honorable mentions. I would also give Taranga Leela one of my honorable mentions, because despite the fact that show will kill you off for humorous reasons, it's also a comedy that has absurdly good healthcare simply because it's a comedy. So, my head will be in a jar for a while, and then maybe they'll even grow me a new body. And, I still have, even if I get killed humorously, I still have good odds of surviving, as long as we can come up with a plot where I could be amusing again. So.
And
plus, I can get to know the entire cast of Star Trek in that universe, because they're all in heads and jars there.
My only honorable was Mel.
That
would be.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fun one.
See, and Malcolm, another reason I put him on my actual list, despite the dubiousness of his survivability and everything, and the heart-wrenching thing, is it's just like, I literally named a child after Malcolm Reynolds. Come on. I love Malcolm Reynolds. If I get the chance to serve on his crew, I got to
one of my daughters, Kaylee, after Kaylee.
Exactly. So. And granted, I already liked the name Malcolm. I have planned on naming a child Malcolm since I was like 10, well before.
But that certainly
Firefly
helps.
came along.
Yeah.
But it's the difference when it's just like, I've got a child. It's like, no, I did not name him after Dean Winchester. But the existence of Dean Winchester definitely helped me like that name more. Whereas with Malcolm, it's like, I've had that name since I was 10, but no, I will straight up say, I named him after Malcolm Reynolds.
Okay. So next week, so this episode is our first one of 2019. Yay, 2019.
Mm-hmm. Yay!
Next week's episode, we are going to be talking about the man, the myth, the legend himself, John Williams.
Absolutely.
So get excited for that episode, because I certainly am.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's going to be fun. So yeah, make sure to, by the way, we want to hear what your top 5 picks would have been.
Absolutely.
If we missed any captains you felt should have been on the list, please yell at us on Twitter. I'm sure some of you are screaming into your phones or your computers.
How have you not
heard
of this series?
Or why did Chris not? Tell Chris how wrong he is for not putting Picard in number 1. That's okay.
You know what? If you have not actually watched or read One Piece and you're going to tell me, I'm just going to ignore you.
That's fine.
Now, if you have watched more of One Piece than I have, which is definitely a possibility, because I don't have a lot of One Piece under my belt, and you're going to tell me I'm wrong, then I'll listen.
Fair enough. So go yell at us on Twitter at More Civilized, and join our Facebook group, More Civilized Podcast. We really do love hearing your feedback. It gives us warm fuzzies. It's nice to know what you guys are liking or disliking so we can adjust. So yeah, give us ideas as well. So
yeah, on that note, we also have some things we'd like to mention, a couple of shout outs. Lots of fun things have happened on Facebook recently, or been posted on Facebook recently. In particular, my favorite was Steven's last post about looking up the holiday special.
yeah,
We told you not to do
Steven-
that.
I don't think that he has, but Steven,
Well, he
seriously,
tried to.
don't.
He tried to.
Yeah, oh.
Yeah, he tried to look up the
Look up a best of, which
yeah.
is a silly thing to suggest.
Yeah.
Well, and you were proven right. It's just not
Yeah,
there.
there is no
isn't
best
one.
of.
So, Steven, how dare you? Just
No,
stop
it's
it.
an understandable impulse. Like, everybody
I
goes,
had
oh
that-
yeah, it's bad, but I want to see for myself. And it's like, no, it really is bad enough that you really don't want to see for yourself.
Thanks, Alexa. Yeah, that was our new Christmas present, so I'm still figuring out how to use it.
Oh,
Okay.
that's fair. I wondered, I was like, I don't remember seeing her there before. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was new, and it came up on my
But yeah,
phone. I hope.
so I get the impulse, but seriously, people, take our word for this. You are better off not seeing for yourself the holiday special.
It really. Yeah.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
We did have one listener, though, on Twitter comment that they must have seen it as a kid, and so had, like, the good nostalgia fuzzies, and
yeah.
they're like, I remember it being bad, but, like, not that bad. I remember the cartoon being, like, being kind of okay. And I said, definitely the Boba Fett cartoon, like, that's the high point of the special, but that high point is still pretty low.
Yeah. That's like saying compared to Death Valley, the ocean is a high point. Like, that's not...
Yeah, that's fair.
We also had a post also by Steven. Thank you for kind of carrying the brunt of Facebook, Steven.
Join Steven in the Facebook group so he's not talking to himself, people, for heaven's sakes.
He posted a new trailer for the Galaxy's Edge resort, showing a little bit more of what
It looks
goes
pretty
on.
cool,
Yeah.
actually.
Shows a little bit more of what's going on in the area, more inside the actual Falcon piloting game thing that it does. And then also, my favorite was a post by our friend Caleb, who posted an old Photoshop that he did.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, while we had snow. He got a couple of old action figures and, has the Rebel pilot Luke and the Vader, and they're standing off against each other, and he's put a glow on their lightsabers and made mountains and has a little
He's an
crashed-
art teacher. So.
Yeah. And he has a crashed snow
Yeah.
speeder with smoke and everything. It was a really
Yeah,
fun little thing.
he posted this picture years ago and then was like, hey, since,
Look what I found in my
Look what I found.
yeah.
Here you go. Here's appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I wasn't going to mention this, but I saw it when I was scrolling through just now.
Do it.
The picture that I posted of my wife's crafty
the
BB-8 ornaments that she made.
That was pretty cool.
We were dating when she made these originally, and it was just a couple little simple ornaments and some BB-8 stickers, and it turned out really well.
So you're missing out on cool stuff if you're not in the Facebook group, people.
That's right. Also, Kyler had a shout out or two to do to his friend.
So, quick one. We'll get it out of the way. Go follow the Rebel Fleet at Rebel Fleet HQ on Twitter. They are posting always good Armada stuff. So if you're into or curious about Armada, go follow them and you'll see what the awesome game is. We keep talking about all the time, or that I keep talking about all the time because it's amazing. So our a more civilized podcast addicted Coloradan listener, Josh Tussler, he's given us some great episode ideas on Twitter, as well as a great spontaneous review on Twitter, which I was really pleased to see. He said, if you're an unabashed Star Wars geek like me, you must give this one podcast a listen. Chris, Kyler, and Ross are all great guys with a passion for all things Star Wars.
Ha! Deceived him.
Yeah. So I really, that made me pretty happy to see that, and I appreciate the shout out, man.
Yeah,
and more so appreciate the review. And please do follow his advice. Go listen to us. We're hilarious. And then a couple weeks ago, I believe I mentioned on the podcast as well.
I love that you just told people listening to our podcast to go listen to us.
Yes, do it. Well, go listen to us again.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Keep listening, please.
let's make January our best month ever in downloads, guys. Come on. But anyway, a couple weeks ago, I talked about somebody in Oklahoma listening to us. Literally right after that first mention, we recorded. I went home and I got a message on Facebook, totally out of the blue, from a girl that I went to school with. She and I were getting our bachelor's degrees at the same time. And Peggy, I'm sorry, I can't remember if you were in the history program or the German program. All I know is that we had a bunch of history classes and a bunch of German classes together. And she's delightful. So I get this message from her, and she's like, oh my gosh, Kyler, your podcast is so dang funny. And I was like, wait, what? You're listening to the podcast? She's like, oh yeah, dude, I've been listening to it. It's awesome. I told my dad to start listening to it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm really happy to hear that. And then I was like, oh, Peggy, are you still in Oregon? Like, how's life? What's going on? Just started catching up with her. And she's like, no, actually, I'm not in Oregon. I'm actually moved to Oklahoma. And I was like, wait a minute. You're the Oklahoma listener? I was watching you binge our episodes the other night. And she's like, that's so funny. Anyway, so I just wanted to give a shout out to my friend Peggy. Yeah. Peggy, you're just awesome. And, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Peggy.
It was good to hear from you.
Thank you.
So, with that, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr_R*.
Yep. And again, please let us know if you've got any topics you want us to cover, or if you've got any topics we really should stay away from now on. Just let us know what to do with this, really. Yeah.
Yep. So there we go. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
Always.
I'm Anna Graves, and thank you for listening to a more civilized podcast.
For both Armada and Legion, I'm going all in with Clone Wars, both factions. Mm-hmm. Doing it all. I love both sides of that war. It's just fantastic. Mostly because both sides are the bad guys.
And that's why I don't like that era.
Inevitably, if you're on a capital ship, odds are good that some plucky band of rebels is going to explode you.